library friends, this is Miss Cindy from the Crown Point Community Library, and today we're going to do something really exciting. Today we're going to visit the Crown Point Fire Department. So come along with me, we're going to go inside, we're going to meet some firefighters, we're going to find out about the fire trucks, and we're going to get to see one pull out with its sirens. So join me for some fun.
Well, good afternoon, my name is Firefighter Tony. I'm a firefighter paramedic here at Crown Point Fire Rescue. I have Firefighter Todd with me today. We're going to show you what a firefighter looks like when he has all of his protective gear on. So, for the little ones out there, the firefighter may look a little scary, but underneath all that scary gear is just a regular firefighter. So nothing to be scared of. So right now, Firefighter Todd does not look too scary. Once he puts on all his gear, he might look a little bit scary, but we're going to walk through this, him putting on the gear so we can explain some of it, and then just when we get to the end, he won't look as scary as what we may think he might. So, first thing that Firefighter Todd is going to put on, he's already put it on conveniently, is his pants and his boots. The boots protect his feet and the pants protect his legs from anything that's hot or on fire. The next thing he's going to put on is his hood, and his hood is kind of like a sock for his head. It protects his ears, it protects his hair, and it protects his neck. Now the next thing he's going to put on is his coat. This coat can get really, really hot. A lot of us put on our snowsuits when we go out and play in the snow in the winter. Firefighters have to wear our snowsuits all the time. When it's hot out, when it's raining out, when it's really, really nice out, we constantly have to wear them. So the next thing he's going to put on, and this is where he's going to look a little scary, is his mask. This mask helps him breathe when he's in a fire. Now, this may look scary, but remember, under all of that stuff, all the masks and all the gear, it's just Firefighter Todd. The next to last thing he's going to do is he's going to put on his air pack. Now, a lot of you have a backpack that you take to school and you put your books in there and your papers and whatnot. We put clean air in our tanks, and that's what we take into a burning building because you can't breathe smoke and neither can we. So we bring clean air with us so that we're able to breathe inside of a burning building. The next thing he's going to put on is he's going to pull that hood all the way up so he's protecting the top of his head because it gets really, really hot in the fire and we don't want our ears to burn or our hair to burn. Right before he's getting ready to go into a fire, he's going to put on two more things. He's going to put on his helmet. So that helmet keeps his head protected because in a fire, some stuff can fall down like ceilings or fans or lights, and we want to stay protected. So we wear this nice hard helmet that keeps our head protected. Now he's not quite ready to go into a fire just yet. He's got one more thing he's got to put on. At the end, before he goes into a fire, we want all of our skin protected. So he is going to bring his gloves. So Firefighter Todd's going to put his gloves on. And in just a second here, he'll be ready to go into a fire. So, it may look a little scary, but remember, under all this gear, it's just Firefighter Todd, your local firefighter that's here to help you.
So I'm here with Firefighter Tony, and I have some questions. Some of you asked some questions on our Facebook page, things that you wanted to know, how a firefighter thinks, or things about the job. So Firefighter Tony is going to answer your questions now. So Firefighter Tony, Wyatt, who's 5 years old, wants to know, is your job a dangerous job?
So it can be dangerous. Obviously going into burning buildings is a very dangerous thing. Some of the car accidents that we go on can be dangerous. Some of the ambulance calls we go on can be dangerous. But firefighters, we train a lot and we prepare a lot. So we go to some dangerous situations, but we use the utmost safety. We are as safe as possible when we go there. We have our gear that helps us out. We have a lot of firefighters that go to the call, so we have more than enough help. And we prepare and train on all kinds of scenarios that could happen, all kinds of dangerous events, so we know just how to handle them when the time comes.
Very good. Glad you stay safe. So Emmeline, who's 4, wants to know, why do firefighters have Dalmatians as their dogs?
Why do firefighters have Dalmatians? So, a little bit of history here about the fire service. A long, long time ago, when fire trucks were pulled by horses, people would try and take the horses, or there would be animals that would try and mess with the horses while the horses were going to a call. So firefighters had Dalmatians that protected the horses and made sure that nobody stole the horses and that no animals tried to get at the horses while the firefighters were fighting the fire. Nowadays, we still have dogs, not necessarily Dalmatians, but we have dogs that are able to do search and rescue, so they're able to find people that may be in a collapsed building. And then we have dogs that are able to sniff out how exactly a fire started. Those are called arson investigation dogs. We don't have an arson investigation dog here, but we do have a search and rescue dog. His name is Jake, and we might see him here in a little bit.
That will be fun. Rowan, age 5, wants to know, why do you guys work such long shifts?
Why do we work such long shifts? That's a very good question, especially for a 5-year-old. Firefighters work long shifts. We work what's called a 24-48 schedule. So that means that Firefighter Tony will get to the firehouse at 7 a.m. and I will stay here all day. I will sleep here, and then I will leave in the morning or the next morning at 7 a.m. So I'm here for one whole day. And the reason being is it takes a lot of firefighters to protect the city of Crown Point. We would have to hire a lot of firefighters, and sometimes we may not have that many firefighters. So it's a lot easier for our firefighters to work 24-hour shifts and have a lot of us here than have just a little bit of us here working broken up shifts, like 8-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts or whatever it may be.
It's good to know. All right, Julian, who's age 10, wants to know, what if you have 2 fires at the same time? What do you do then?
So if we have 2 fires at the same time in the city of Crown Point, that has happened a couple times actually, we have what's called mutual aid. So mutual aid means is that we call up our friends at other fire departments around here, like Maryville or Cedar Lake or Lowell, and ask them for help. And they will send us firefighters to help put out the 2 fires that are going on at the same time. Here at Crown Point, we also have what's called volunteer firefighters. So there are always firefighters here to staff the fire trucks, but then if something gets way too big and we need extra help, we have volunteer firefighters that will come from home and put their gear on and then take the fire trucks out and go to the calls.
Okay, very good. Well, David is 4, and David would like to know, how fast do your fire trucks go?
How fast do our fire trucks go? They can go really, really fast, but we don't like to drive them so fast because we want to be safe. We don't want to cause a car accident. So we go the speed limit or just a little above to make sure that we are safe. We don't blow through stop signs, we don't go through red lights, we slow down to make sure that all the cars are stopped, and then we go through.
Thank you. And then Victor, he's 7 years old, wants to know, so why do we need to have a fire alarm and a carbon monoxide alarm? Wouldn't just one alarm be enough?
That's a very good question, very good question. So the reason why we need to have both alarms is because we can have a fire in our house and we could have smoke, or we could have carbon monoxide in our house, and that could be 2 different things. There could be 2 different reasons why. What you need in your house, you need a smoke detector that is just outside every bedroom. You need a smoke detector that's on every level of your house. So if you have a basement, you need one in the basement. You need one on the 1st floor and the 2nd floor, and then you need a smoke detector in every bedroom. When it comes to carbon monoxide alarms, you need a carbon monoxide alarm just outside of every bedroom and on every level of the home. So again, if you have a basement, there needs to be a carbon monoxide alarm in the basement. If you have a 1st floor and a 2nd floor, there needs to be one on both. The carbon monoxide alarms are very sensitive and they need to go off as soon as possible because carbon monoxide can really hurt you. So you need to know that there is carbon monoxide in your home and you need to get out quickly and call the fire department. Smoke is the same reasoning too. If there's a fire in your home, you need to get out as soon as possible. You only have a couple minutes to escape from your home, so the more smoke detectors you have, the more it's able to alarm, the quicker you are to get out of your house.
Good information. AJ is 5, and AJ would like to know, how much water does it take to put out a fire?
So that's a good question too. It all depends. Depends on how big the fire is. If it's a small fire, we can put it out with a little tiny fire extinguisher. If it's a big fire, we may need to use this fire truck right here that has a big ladder that can allow us to pour thousands of gallons of water onto the fire very quickly. So it all depends on how much fire we have, is how much water we're going to need.
Okay. Julia's 7, and she would like to know, how do the sirens work?
How do the sirens work? So when we look in the fire truck here in a little bit, I'll show you where the siren button is. We have a siren button inside of the fire truck, which the firefighters turn on, and then it powers this siren right here, which allows everybody to know around it that the fire truck is coming through and they need to move out of the way.
Okay. And I have one more question for you. So Elijah's 11, and he wants to know, because he's seen this in the movies or in books, he wants to know, have you ever saved a cat from a tree?
Have we ever saved a cat from a tree? We have saved cats from the trees.
So you save everybody, and you even save cats.
Yes.
Good
Ducks
to know.
ducks are our common ones now. The ducks that get stuck in the drains. We
Oh.
save those more than we save cats.
Okay,
Yep.
very interesting. Well, thank you, thank you, Firefighter Tony, for taking time and for talking to us. I hope you got your questions answered. And if you have more questions, you can they write you letters?
They can write us letters here to the firehouse, and we'll give you the address on the Facebook page for the library.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, I said before we were going to look at the inside of the fire truck. So this is what's called the cab of the fire truck, and this is where the firefighters sit. I'm going to show you just the important tools that we have inside here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the firefighters' riding positions, or what their assignment is when they're going to a fire. So right now I'm in the driver operator seat. This is the guy or girl who drives the fire truck to where we need to go. So when we're going to an emergency, they're in charge of the lights, they're in charge of the sirens, they're in charge of making sure that we get to where we need to go very safely. So the first most important thing in the fire truck is our seatbelt. All of you should be wearing your seatbelt or sitting in your booster when you're in the car. We all wear our seatbelts when we're in the fire truck. Over here, this is how we turn on the fire truck. So a lot of people say, well, what happens if you forget the keys to the fire truck? We don't have to worry about that, because we can go ahead and turn on the fire truck with these little buttons right here. I can turn on my battery, I can turn on the ignition, kind of like your car ignition on mom and dad's car, and then the start button will turn on the fire truck, but I'm not going to do that because it's going to get a little too loud in here. The next thing up here, the most important thing, is where our lights are. So we are able to turn on all the lights on the fire truck from one button right here. Then our sirens are over here by the officer's seat, and we'll talk about that here because I know one of our friends had a question about the sirens in the fire truck. Right here is our driving panel, so this is how we decide if we're going to go forward or if we're going to go backwards. And then we have some more buttons over here that allow us to operate the ladder up top of this, or on the top of this fire truck, as well as some of the other lights and special tools on the fire truck. So now I'm going to move to the back, and I'm going to show you where the firefighters sit when they're on their way to the call. So now we're in the back of the cab, and this is where the firefighters sit. When we're going to a fire call, we need to make sure that as soon as we get to the fire, we are ready to go, and we have all of our stuff with us. So while we're going to the fire call, we are putting on all that special protective gear that Firefighter Todd put on in the other video. The firefighters, our air packs are a part of our seat. So when the firefighters are going to a call, all they have to do is take the air pack straps, put it on, and as soon as that fire truck comes to a stop, they're able to jump off. Now, firefighters need to use special tools as well. We have the tools right here. We have what's called an axe and a halligan. We can use this to open up doors because sometimes there's fires and we have to get through the doors to get to the fire. We also have flashlights right here, because inside of a fire, it's really, really smoky and it can get really, really dark, and we're not going to be able to see our way through. So we bring some extra light with us so that we're able to see in the fire. A lot of people don't know it, but the firefighters here at Crown Point Fire Rescue are paramedics as well. That means that we also work on the ambulance and take care of people that are sick or are hurt. So every fire truck here has medical gloves, and then we bring, of course, our protective mask and our eye protection as well, because we could be on a fire call and then we might need to go to an ambulance call, or somebody may be hurt at the fire and we may need to provide them medical care while we're there, and we're all able to do that here at Crown Point Fire Rescue. Now we're going to move up to the front again, and I'm going to show you where the officer of the fire truck sits. Alright, so now we're up front where the officer of the fire crew sits. The officer is kind of like the boss. So when you go to school, you have a teacher who's in charge and makes sure that you are safe and that you're doing your schoolwork and you're learning. The fire officer does the same exact thing, only instead of students, he has firefighters. Up here, he has a couple things that help him out with his job. When we're going to the fire, we have what's called an MDT, or a mobile data terminal. This allows us to see where we have to go and any information that we need to know about where we're going, if something's on fire or if somebody's hurt or sick. So we have all that information before we even get to where we need to go. If there's a fire, he may need to use what's called the TIC, or the thermal imaging camera. So the cool part about this is that it allows us to see in the dark. If we have somebody that is trapped in a smoky building, they're giving off body heat. And if you can kind of see here, you see how my hand starts to glow? Somebody that's trapped in a fire that we can't see through smoke will do the same thing. So we use this to find people that may be trapped or find animals that may be trapped. While we're going to the fire, we have this here, our MDT, but we're also going to need to talk over the radio. So right here is our radio, and this is how the fire officer talks to our dispatcher and talks to other fire trucks that are going to be coming into the fire. That way, if he needs something done, he can tell them, and as soon as they get there, they're ready to go and able to do the job that needs to be done to keep you or your family safe. So our friend Julia asked how the siren is operated on the fire truck, and it's actually kind of different than what you think. We have this little pedal here down on the floor. So while the firefighters are going to the call, the officer is able to take his foot and put it right down here on the pedal, and it will activate the siren. That way he's able to tell drivers that they need to get out of the way and that the fire trucks are coming.
This book is called The Firefighters by Sue Whiting. It's illustrated by Donna Rollins, and it's published by Candlewick Press. The Firefighters. Bring, bring, the alarm sounds. Quick, I say, coats and boots. Hats too, says Mia. Hurry, Mrs. Iverson, says Jack. There's a fire. We're playing firefighters. We're just like the real ones. Climb on board, I say. Squeeze in, Mrs. Iverson, says Mia. The door won't close. Sirens on, says Jack. Let's go, go, go. We're in our fire engines. They're just like the real ones. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. The siren yells. Quick, I say, around the corner and up the hill, says Mia. Then on to Drury Lane, says Mrs. Iverson. No, shouts Jack, that's the wrong way. Silly Mrs. Iverson. We rush out the door. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. We tear past the climbing fort and the tunnels. We dash past the sandbox. Woo, woo, woo. Everyone stops and stares, but we don't have time to wave. Our fire engines are fast and noisy, just like the real ones. There's the fire, I say. Quick, pull over. Connect the hoses, says Mia. We have to hurry, says Mrs. Iverson, or Lulu's ice creamery will go up. This could get dangerous, says Jack. Be careful. The fire's hot. The flames crack and pop and tickle the sky. The smoke is really stinky. Oxygen mask, says Mrs. Iverson. Good thinking. We pull on our mask. Mia and Jack hold one hose. Mrs. Iverson and I hold the other. Water shoots out and blasts the fire. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. We're firefighters, brave and strong, just like the real ones. Fire's out, I say. We did it, says Mia. And we saved Lulu, says Mrs. Iverson. Good job, everyone, says Jack. We flop on the ground, tired and dirty. Then, woo, woo, woo. What's that? Woo, Whew, a siren? Look, I say. Wow, says Mia. Too noisy, yells Jack, covering his ears. Surprise, says Mrs. Iverson. It's a fire engine, a real one. The fire engine drives into the yard and stops right beside our classroom. The doors swing open and out steps 2 firefighters, real ones. Mrs. Iverson gets us to sit in the shade. The firefighters tell us stories about fighting fires and rescuing people from burning buildings. It sounds exciting and scary. They tell us that there is a fire in a building. If there is a fire in a building we're in, we should get down low and go, go, go. Let's pretend, says one of the firefighters. Oh no, shouts the other, there's smoke. There must be a fire. We're not silly. We know what to do. We get down low and we go, go, go. We're good at pretending. I tell the firefighters, we can see that, they say. When we're all sitting down again, one of the firefighters says, who would like to climb on board the fire truck? Yes, we shout, and we do, 3 at a time. The fire engine is big, red, and shiny. There are dials and buttons everywhere. Mia and I take turns switching on the siren. Jack speaks into the radio. Don't worry, we're on our way, he says. I love it. I really do. You know we're firefighters too, I tell the firefighters. Just not the real ones like you. Not yet. The end.
Alright, so as I mentioned before, firefighters work 24/48. That means we have to stay here at the firehouse one whole day. Upstairs is where we sleep. We have 13 bedrooms upstairs, or individual beds, where our firefighters can sleep at night. Now, emergencies can happen day or night. They can happen early in the morning, they can happen really late when we're all usually asleep. But we still have to be very, very quick. Now, you saw how fast I came down the fire pole. That's a lot quicker than going down the stairs. So this reduces a little bit of time. The firefighter is able to get up from his sleep, come down the fire pole, and then he's off to the ambulances or the fire trucks. And this helps us a lot.